Welcome to Mystically Me, a place to connect to your higher guidance, a place for anyone who's curious about the spiritual part of life, maybe metaphysical topics. This is a place for you. If you've ever felt like you did not fit in, if you didn't belong, if you were the black sheep of your family, welcome home. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for listening and being here. I really appreciate it. We are small but mighty. As this community grows, hopefully, it'll become a place where people are more comfortable talking and asking questions and sharing. But enough about that. Let's jump in to see what the cards want to tell us today. What messages do we need to connect with? As always, we'll start with these inner child cards. Ooh, hold on. Some of them are they're actually like a very big card deck, much bigger than a tarot, like a much bigger than a normal card deck, like a playing card deck. So sometimes they're a little bit wily. Oh, yep, like one just popped out. Okay, we've got Hansel and Gretel, the Guide of Swords, which is like Robin Hood we've talked about before, and his Band of Merry Men. Some cards like to keep coming up. Oh, and two more came out. Wow. So, like I've said before, if you're new to Oracle Tarot, these cards, the inner child cards, kind of follow a more traditional tarot deck. So they have the major and minor arcana. And three of the cards that came out right now are major arcana cards. So usually, kind of the thinking with that is these happen when bigger life moments are happening, maybe a metamorphosis of self, initiation, changes, maybe you're, moving out of your home, going to college, career transition, getting married, getting divorced, the whole gamut of big life changes. And then, so let me just give me a second here. So one thing you to know about the Hansel and Gretel card, and one reason I really like it is in the traditional tarot deck, it's the lovers. And I feel like sometimes, but there might be people who are getting into topics like this who that maybe isn't the most appropriate to go with. And a deeper meaning of the lover card anyway is the masculine and feminine within each person, because we have each within ourselves. The kind of unification or merging of those two, so you're living as like a fully balanced person. But in the story of Hansel and Gretel, we know they're siblings, so it's not like the typical lovers card. Of course, it's just showing about their journey and what they go through. It's really a deep spiritual initiation this card represents. So it's a time to learn how to balance your male and female and kind of find your way to unconditional love for yourself. So, for whoever this message is for, and remember, an important part of this is using your intuition. Some of you might call it a gut feeling. Just you feel like, oh, okay, this feels like it's for me. Or maybe something had just come up around Hansel and Gretel. You never know. The universe loves to give us little signs. Our angels, guides, however you refer to them, love to help us out and give us little nuggets of information along the way. So then we get the next card, which is Sleeping Beauty. 13 in the traditional, 13 in this deck too. So Sleeping Beauty is, the process you go to, maturing kind of. Also, the process we go through of life. You're young, you have lessons to learn, you go from youth into, your adulthood, and then eventually get into your elder years. So one big thing, because it's Sleeping Beauty, it's about sleep. So for whoever this message is for, you maybe have already been in this like metamorphosis of self or going through changing yourself, figuring out a truer part of yourself. I don't know exactly. Just finding your way back home to yourself feels right for this. So anyway, sleep. I know in our society, if you live in Western society, I mean, not many places are untouched with our technological world. So that really affects sleep, especially I know that many of you listening, you were sensitive. That's kind of what's drawn you here. You've always been sensitive to other people's moods and energy. And sometimes it's just realizing how sensitive you truly are, because you just, you always think this is how I always thought, oh, well, everyone's like this, because you don't talk about this stuff with other people. Like, if you're in a good mood and go into a room with a bunch of upset people, do you feel in a bad mood suddenly? Like, I never ever considered that I was picking up moods from other people. It took me a very long time to understand that. And even once I understood, I didn't even realize until leaving my recent career, getting out of the public school buildings, how affected I was by the I mean, to be honest, behind the scenes, not the kids. The kids are great. The toxic adult culture in many schools, and how people are allowed to treat other people and like bully. I mean, it's insane. So you just never know until you start to like check in with yourself. So I realized there was a friend I hung out with. Every time I would go to hang out with him before, I would get like a stomach ache and I wouldn't want to go. And this, it took me a while to realize it, but it was really just the situation. Like I kind of just knew I'd grown past where I was with this friend and I just didn't want to go through what in hanging out entailed. So you have to check in with yourself. Learn to figure out what's yours. That's why these types of tools, connecting with oracle or tarot cards, or finding a channel like this to help you connect with your higher guidance. So anyway, I got way off on a tangent on that, but anyway, sleep. So you can also be so affected by all the technology and like electricity and different energies around us. So, if you check in with your sleep. Also, for those of you who do sleep well and are vivid dreamers and actually remember your dreams have some messages for you right now. So if you can try to write them down, we've talked about this before, or voice message if you don't want to write anything, that's fine. Uh, you could, there's something in getting more sleep, or for someone really reflecting upon your dreams if you were someone lucky enough to remember those. So that will help kind of this metamorphosis you're going through, with this within yourself sorry, I'm stumbling on my words. Whew. I'm gonna take a breath because sometimes I get excited. So this person going through the metamorphosis, trying to unify their inner masculine and feminine, sleep is going to be helpful, either getting more of it, or if you are someone that is fine in that department, doing some examination of your dreams, seeing if anything's recurring. I have a great app. It's like a Jungian archetype app, and it has like a dream analyzer who I don't really remember my dreams, but the few times I've put something in there, it's been like, whoa, this is pretty cool. So, look, if you're interested in that, research a little bit what some of the symbols, especially if they're reoccurring, I would look up what that might mean and see how it applies to your life. And then we've got the card 21, which is the Earth Child, which would be like the world card in the traditional tarot. And this card is obviously beautiful. So when you see this card, um, you know, it's got the earth and the baby on it with the heart. And it's really whoever's going through this metamorphosis of self right now, you have to know that you are so divinely protected. If you want to say cosmically, whatever works for you, like you have influences and angels, ancestors who maybe passed over. You have like a cheerleading team rooting for you as you go through this. So, there, if you're willing, there are ways to connect more. You could just talk to them. That's how I talk to my angels and guides, which for some of you might feel very abstract. Also, that's why tarot and oracle is a tool, so you can pull cards and they can help, that's they're guiding what you're doing and help you kind of connect the dots, maybe where if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm getting signs, I feel a little connected, but I don't know what to trust. What if I'm being crazy? You know, you're not. First of all, just remember you're not crazy. It can just feel like that, especially if you grow up in a society or a world that really doesn't appreciate things like this and labels it as crazy. So just remember, those are just outside labels and usually, well, completely fear based. These kind of gifts that everybody has, being able to connect with their intuition and higher guidance, have just been, hidden away for so long because the powers that be, the people who want to control people, don't want people knowing that they have the power to do this with their own lives. Like, you can connect, you can start working with manifestation and your frequency and just make the changes in life that you want to make. So much of it, though, starts with clearing all the blankets, all false beliefs, all the stuff we picked up over the years that really isn't ours. It's just that we either adapted to it because we wanted to fit in, or you don't know anything else. I've always said, I kind of feel like when you leave your fall home, as you graduate high school or just go out on your own, whatever it is, you kind of have two ways of living as you go into an adult life. You can examine everything your parents have told you and decide if it really fits for you, or you can just buy it as that's yours and live your life like that. And I'm not judging one or the other. It's just I feel different places that people are at in their life. And what I went through in my childhood just left so much, you know, not belonging, feeling just so feeling unworthy, just feeling like I didn't belong anywhere, didn't fit in anywhere. So, there was nowhere else to connect deeper than with what I had already knew to be true as a smaller kid. Just didn't grow up in an environment that let that kind of, truth about who we really are, our spiritual side, our connected side, our divine side, like shine. So, just that's my opinion, of course. Take or leave whatever you want with it. So, whoever's going through this, like, I feel what's coming through is someone, whoever this message is for, you kind of have went through something in your physical life, kind of a Robin Hood type of situation where maybe you just got sick of the way that things were and that you were contributing to a system that was not that good, that was using people or exploiting people. So you have decided to make this metamorphosis of self to become more of who you really are, more like the Robin Hood who's going to like take from the jerks and give to the good people. That's a better way to think of it, I like to think, because we can't just label everyone as one thing as bad or good. So, as you go through this amazing metamorphosis to find your way back, which a lot of finding our way back to who we truly are, is this merging and balance of our masculine and feminine. Because oftentimes we're living through too much, like using too much of one aspect of ourselves to live life and making things a lot harder for our like natural true way of being. Well, that's a whole other can of worms. So through this metamorphosis, you have like some allies here. Besides your angels, guides, ancestors, whatever you want to call them, you also have this little key right now. It's a little code of examining your sleep. So if you're not getting enough, I have a Fitbit. I like to look at how much REM sleep I got, how much deep sleep. But then sometimes it's very frustrating because it told me I slept for an hour and 15 minutes last night, and I know that wasn't true. I slept much longer than that, so it's okay. But just for yourself, examine that. Do you need to put? I know this is for whoever this message is for. When someone says put the screen away before bed, it's like but if you're not willing to do that, maybe I don't know, dim the light or use that blue screen stuff. I don't know exactly what works, but find ways that work for you so that it's helping you if you're not willing to take like a bigger step to put your phone down and do something else. Okay, so I feel like that's good. So just, remember that invisible team you have, your invisible cheerleading team of angels, guides, ancestors. They're there. So reach out whatever way you feel, the most connected with or most comfortable. I'm going to grab our sacred geometry cards so we can see if those want to give us a kind of a new message for someone out there, if they're going to keep us in the same kind of theme almost. I feel like a lot of times they do that, but you never know. All right. We've got the lesson, which is number 37. Uh, Let me take my glasses off so I can actually read this. Card 35, which is Luna and the volcano. Ooh, so Luna can reference moon. And then number 2, mandala. All right, let me see what. Okay, so I do feel this thread kind of continues. Maybe I feel like with a different, like, kind of message, not a different version, just a different path to the same goal, I guess, for lack of a better word. So, like the mandala, a mandala is a beautiful um, circle. And they are used, there are some religions, it might be Tibetan monks, and I am so sorry if I am wrong, but they will spend, days, weeks, maybe years making these beautiful, like sand mandalas, and just to let like the wind blow them away. They're used as oftentimes like meditation tools. Yeah, so mandalas, and when the round, it's like considering your life as a whole, which if we're connecting it to the cards before, I feel that that's sort of what happened for someone as they came to this metamorphosis. Like you felt an unbalance in your life and you just wanted a greater sense of wholeness, knowing who you really are. So then, they're always it either the lesson occurred before this awareness and shift, or, through this shift, here comes a lesson. You know, I don't want to freak anyone out because it's not scary, but lesson for some people, if they did not have good school experiences, or like, I don't want a lesson, or the way our parents talk to us about learning a lesson. So the great thing is being, when you get older, you don't have to have that word be negative, because if you figure, like, think of it this way: every time you learn a lesson, if you want to call it that, or what about just like a sparkly little nugget of truth, if you don't like the word lesson, you find your little sparkly truth nugget about yourself, and it just opens up so much more, because the more you know yourself, it's just that know thyself. The deeper you know who you truly are and live that way without fear. And once you've removed all the, like, the blankets and all the projections other people have put on you, you really just get into a beautiful space of life. Like, yeah, sometimes stuff still happens. I've been working so hard to be in this space, and then it's like, oh, hey, landlord, your rent's going up. Oh, okay, well, that's okay. I got this. Oh, now that, life loves to just be like this and this and this. And we can't control that, but we can control reactions. And the best way to learn to control your reactions is to figure out where they're coming from, who you are. Why are you reacting this way? Because I get really dramatic and overreact about stuff. And it's been years of like, okay, why am I doing that? And you need to stop doing that, just because it's just not a healthy way to handle situations. So take a little time, or keep what you're doing. If you're just starting this voyage of self, don't be afraid. You're awesome. Okay. You know it. If you don't know it, I hope this journey of self will lead you to that, because you have to believe that. This is a lifelong lesson for me. I swear I'll learn it and then I'll fall back, because that's again a part of it. Having that confidence. And that is some of that lesson for you is, yeah, you've been able to show confidence in your false, like in your masks, the faces you present to the world, but you've never had confidence in your, like, true self. I mean, you might only show this, like, you of yous to, I mean, to be honest, I feel for whoever this message is for, because this is starting to feel very specific, that you have probably not shown your, like, truest self to really anyone on purpose. You just had an experience, though, of someone who could see it, because they could just see through all the masks. And for whoever I'm speaking to, maybe that's what happened, is you had an experience with someone in your life, and they just sort of said things to you, knew things about you, but you would never, like, you barely knew them, or you just met them, but they were seeing, like, who you truly are, like the you want to be, but are maybe a little afraid to, just for, various reasons. We all have our reasons of fear behind, not wanting to show our most authentic selves, but that probably all boils down to being rejected for who we truly are. So you've had this, like, moment, this lesson of like, whoa, they saw me for who I truly was, or who I truly am. And, like, they didn't freak out. They seemed to think I was cool. Like, the world didn't end in the way I thought it would if I showed this side of myself, kind of thinking. So, um, hold on, let me see I feel with the volcano coming in. A volcano always kind of leads to, like, this is going to be an explosion of some kind, which we tend to, usually when volcanoes explode, it's not a good thing. But, you got to apply it to the situation and see what's up. Okay. Well, I guess another thing about volcanic eruptions is they are not really something you plan for. They are unexpected. So what's coming through with this is, this sense of wholeness that I don't feel this part is for one person. A collective has been seeking a greater sense of wholeness. When the world becomes chaos, finally people look within, maybe, or maybe it's just the rising consciousness of humanity, and as more rise, more come up. So that rising is wanting that desire to connect with yourself deeper, to become more of your authentic self, to, I don't want the word spiritual to scare anyone away, because, if you've had negative religious experiences in life, this could be like a little triggering, and I never want that. So I don't know what word, cosmic, just, I feel like the magic of the universe is really how I like to call it, the magic of yourself. Our intuition, those psychic sense they talk about, just we're so magical if we would just stop and like believe it for a second and get rid of any like false beliefs that we picked up along the way that aren't true and are really like boring and lame. No offense to them, but like if you don't want to believe in the cool magical stuff about life, that is your choice. But why not? Like that's just sort of where I stand on it. So anyway, with the volcano, expect change at this point. For this person who you might be sense something big is coming into your life, try for as much as you can to take a stance of like calm readiness. And this whole message is about knowing yourself. So the more you can know and connect to self and understand yourself, then you can take this to calm readiness because you're prepared for anything. Whatever happens isn't going to change who you are in your core, and you can stand up to it, stand through it, and just be yourself. Yeah, okay. So just know for whoever this message is for, your guidance is coming through for you, that you are so much more powerful than you give yourself credit for. You have had several examples in life, like some big ones, but recently a couple other things have happened. Like I feel maybe someone came back from your past and told you the impact that you had on their life, like this something you thought it was a great connection, and you were sad when it seemed like it kind of fizzled out, but that happens a lot in your life, like people come and go. This person came back and was just like, that time we spent together, your friendship, your love, whatever, you changed me in a way that I like didn't go back from. And I just want to thank you for everything you do, everything you are, who you are as a person. And this, whoever the message is for, this like blew you away because you have just always sort of considered yourself like, not, not not noteworthy, but just maybe not as bright and vibrant as some of the other people in your world. Um, but just that is not the only person from your past that has that kind of story for you, is what is wanting to come through right now. So you just realize how amazing and powerful you are, and that there are so many more people that have the same story to tell you, and you will hear it from them. There will be more people popping back up into your life, because I feel for whoever this message is for, you are at kind of like, I don't want to say crossroads, like it's funny, the word that came up in my mind was trigger point, but I used to be a massage therapist, so going back to that, that's like a thing in your muscle. And then I was like, trigger point, that's not then I just had like the image of like being in the crosshair. So maybe that's what someone's feeling like right now. Um, and I know I feel like, hold on, I feel like this is stepping us away from the other message, but not really, because the person who just got that beautiful confirmation that they're powerful and that they have done amazing things for other people in their life just by being who they are, kind of made you feel like you were in the crosshairs, because being visible and being noticed really makes you nervous. You have a more, I don't want to say meek, it's not meek. You just have a sweeter, sensitive, being in the spotlight was never something that you craved or desired or figured would ever be in your life. But what is coming through is that you feel in the crosshairs because you sense an opportunity coming or something is coming, that if you agree to, because remember, you have choice here. If you decide to, take that path, it will be more visibility, but it is also going to bring you into a more authentic, unapologetic version of yourself, because who you are isn't meant to be hidden away. It's not just to meant you're just not meant to help a few people along the way, which is amazing. And if that's what you choose to do, that's fine. But if you choose, you have a bigger, I don't want to say brighter, because your future is bright either way. You have a bigger path you could take that can impact more people. So it's really just up to you where you're at. And don't think that this path might never come again, but this opportunity that just arrived for you, there is coming, is something that if you say yes to, is going to expand your life in the most beautiful ways. And just remember, you have your like invisible cheerleading team behind you. You have your support. You've got this if you want this. So, for whoever that message is for, I am so excited for you if you say yes or no to this opportunity, because you really I just got goosebumps everywhere. I feel for whoever this message is for. You are finally starting to see the magic in you that everybody else sees. And that in itself is a beautiful, just amazing moment for your life. So don't lose it because you are changing the world and people love you and people need more of you if you feel like it's time. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend as we head into it. Take care. And remember, I love you all.